Hi there, folks, anyone watching. So today I would like to take some time to look at life space mapping. Now, this activity is really well used when you can create some time and space to engage a child or youth in this activity with you. So what you want to do for this is you want to take your time. Most of the process is actually the engagement with them rather than the outcome or the product. Okay, so I will go over what the actual product is, but the main focus of this is actually the process of thinking and sharing and using your questioning skills to open up the space to more meaningful dialogue that can help the child or youth really look at what is surrounding them in life currently, what are some key strengths, what are some key solid footing that they stand on, any sort of issues that might come up that you want to write flags. So it's a very in-depth discussion that surrounds this actual process. So let's take a minute to look at the process. All right, so here I have created my own life space mapping really quickly, simply by using Google Images. And this is actually a PowerPoint, right? So there's lots of ways to do this. You can use whatever technology or websites or platforms that you're really comfortable with that allows you to be creative. And if you're kind of old school, which really is what I would like to be, but I was trying to make this more accessible, then I would just use, pull out my crafting stuff from my son's drawer and start getting to work with actual tactile materials. However, you don't have to. So what you see here is what you want to start with is by placing yourself somewhere central, somewhere in the middle, so that you can start building around. Okay, so depict yourself however you want to. There is no sort of artistic talent needed here. You can use stick figures if you're drawing. Place yourself somewhere there. Now you want to start surrounding yourself with things that may be important to you. And there's lots of creative freedom here. So please just use mine as a reference. Wherever your creativity takes you, allow yourself to go. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to carry a suitcase that held all the roles that I have in life, right? So all the roles that are really important to me. So you can see that I've depicted them there on the suitcase. What you see on the side as a tree is depicting all of the blessings I have in life, all of the things that I really didn't have to think too much about, but they're there, they're present, and they're supporting me. So things like family, friends, my own health, hobbies that I can tap into, mentors that are present in my life, friends. I've double done that, but that's okay. Community, just being able to walk out and know that those two people who sit on the edge of the sidewalk at the end of my curb are named Doug and Marcy, and they have coffees there every day. Just be able to say hi to them, engage with them by name, or the friendly neighbor across the street, the elderly woman who we often take some of our soup to or baked goods. This is your sense of community, and that's a blessing in my life. So I put it on my tree. The ability to have financial stability. So the tree represents things that are really helpful, supportive, things that I can tap into in my life. Now, what you see below is sort of the groundwork, right? These are values, beliefs, things that are deeply ingrained within me that I have been taught growing up, things that have been role modeled to me, and things that I really lean on when I'm not sure what to do, right? So these are my roots. They're part of my roots, right? So I remember hard work. The worst thing you could ever be called in my family is lazy. Hard work was the epitome of being noble and good. Positivity, right? That was really something that was pushed. You never be negative. You don't complain. Gratitude. You're always thankful. My own sort of grounding comes from my own beliefs and spirituality. There's a big belief that what matters in life is connection with others and serving others, and then also commitment, the sense of you give everything you've got to whatever you are doing in that moment. So these are sort of my grounding values, beliefs, things that have been ingrained that keep me on firm footing, right? Then you have that billboard sort of off in the distance, things that I still want to look forward to, things that I'm hoping for the future, to have my MSc CYC in hand, to travel to places where they don't have a lot of resources so I can help train people who are there. That's kind of a long-term dream for me. Serve whatever it means and to be able to role model that for my children. And lastly, to make memories, right? Like when you die, you're not going to leave a whole lot of things, but you can leave a lot of memories with your children and family. So that's kind of my focus. And then you'll see up in the top left hand, yes, I know you're learning a lot about me now, aren't you? That's okay. This is CYC, we're relational. Um, in the top left-hand corner, you see a little cutout of some clouds. So there I put things that are kind of weighing on me right now. So I've got this passion for suicide intervention. So that always weighs on me a little bit in terms of, am I doing enough for my community, for my world? Am I training enough people? I know that in the back of my mind, I also got these ideas for all these different things I could do for the course updates, and creating time for that. And then in the darker part of the cloud, you see dissertation, obviously, because I'm clearly still working on my dissertation, which I'm hoping to have done soon. But that is lingering there in the dark part, and it kind of feels like, in the dark part of the cloud, because it's kind of weighing on me, right? I need to get it done. And then in the other dark cloud, you see imposter syndrome. And here's the thing, right? We all have been there, done that. When you get a good position, sometimes you feel like, am I worthy of this position? And you feel that voice in the back of your head saying, am I fooling everybody? Do they know that, maybe I'm not really all that I'm supposed to be? And you have that little voice in your head, right? Telling you you're not quite worthy or something like that. So I put that there because I think it's very real. And I think it's important to acknowledge that, we have these thoughts, and important to be aware of them and know that how they can impact your day-to-day going ons, if that's a word. All right, so that is a life space map example. Now, again, be as creative as you want, engage in the process, and really use this as a reflective sort of look at where you are. And be really aware as to how you do this with children and youth, because the questions you can ask can open up real meaningful discussions. But you also don't want to use this as a checklist, because many of the students or children or youth that you may be working with may not feel that they have a lot of these things. And if you're just running through them like a checklist, it can be very devaluing to the child or youth who's encountering this, right? So make sure that you're wording it with things. It works really well when you already have a relationship with them, because then you can sort of speak to things where they're like, well, I don't have any of that. And you're like, well, you know what I see is one of your strengths is you really care deeply about people, right? Let's put that up in the tree. Big heart, caring spirit. I know how you love to go out for walks, and you're very healthy and you make that happen. So the better you know a person, the more meaningful this can become. And it can be something that they reflect on when they go through times that are a little bit more tough, and they have a look at this. They've got the visual right there for them. And if you do it in a tactile sense, that's always really the best, because then they have something to take with them, because many of these children move from place to place. And these tactile reminders of things that are going well for them can be really empowering, right? So really think about the usefulness, think about your relationship and how you're using it within that relationship.